Greetings. I hope you're well. If you're not, I pray the good Lord visits you soon. But if you're well, then we thank God. Today I've come from a different perspective. Usually I've come from a psychological perspective, but this time I'm coming from a Christian perspective, and I want us to address something I've discovered in my age, like in my lifetime, in my society today, that is causing a lot of discomfort, and that is the issue of embracing old age. What's wrong with old age? When someone asks you today, how old are you? Can you proudly say that I am this kind of years? Or you will first keep quiet and you wonder, why are you asking? That's why today I want us to talk about this topic, embracing old age. I'm talking about that period, that downing of the old age, okay? The first pages of your final chapters of life. When I talk about final chapters, I'm not meaning you're dying tomorrow, but who knows? But I'm meaning having your final years in the best way possible, because as a matter of fact, no one is growing any younger. I'm talking about that time when a golden speck appears on your green leaves. I mean the green leaves of life. For decades, or for the time you've been, the thing of growing up has not been your concern. For all along, you counted on your young age, on your youth. This thing is not something that caused you anxiety, that really worried you. Life has been an open highway, and death has been a millennium away. But then, these messages start coming. I mean the messages of mortality. That shining face that you had, remember? Or if you're not yet there, that you have today, tomorrow may not be the same. Your life insurance today actually includes what? The funeral and burial expenses. Your body is no longer as energetic as it used to be. You're not even proud to say, I'm sweet 12. You remember when we were young? When someone would ask you, how old are you? I am 6, I am 5, I am 12, I am 18. Now, what happened? At that period, everybody was older than you. Your classmates were older, your teachers were older, everybody around was older than you. And, it gave you a sense of pride that, yes, I am still young. I am the youngest in this group, yet I can do big things. Do you still have that pride? That energy that you had in your body today is, you have to struggle to wake up. I am talking about embracing old age. The smile that used to come, as swift as just, but today you struggle to. You have to put in effort to make that smile come out. Well, what happened? Today when you move, everybody calls you mommy or mama. And if you're a man, somebody calls you papa or grandpa or jaja or mzee. And really, I've discovered that many of us, we try to fight that the old age, the reality that we are growing old. We think we are growing younger. We think we are growing stronger. And we do a lot of things to actually keep this reality. But then, at this, it is a reality. It is a pill that has to be swallowed. It is a reality. No matter how you hide your years, no matter how you do what, sometimes you will hide your years, but your face and your body will tell otherwise. I'm talking about that old age where you've reached and now your parents are behaving like they are your children. Because, they think you're old. Now they want to be that cared for. They want that pampering, just like your children were when they were still young, or your children are doing right now. So, embracing old age, even with those challenges of growing old, is it possible to view this positively? Now you've started having those heart attacks. Oh, probably not yet. We thank God and we pray it doesn't happen. And soon or later, we shall have the empty nest. Your children will have grown up, your children will have gone to school, and then they will want to live their own lives, and then you're alone in the house, probably with your husband, if he's still alive, or with your wife, and if they are not, then you're there alone. You have to struggle to find someone to actually be with you. And here, it's where we see denial. People, we do a lot of things to deny the reality of our old age. A few things I'll give you. Now you'll find someone with gray hair trying their best to keep that hair dark. So they dye, they plait, they do ABCD, you know? We have breast lifters now. Somebody feels if they move like that, or they put on normal bras, that won't be enough because, you know, the breasts are changing shape. And so somebody needs a breast lifter. Wow, you know? All that we are trying to fight the reality of old age, you know. We you know, sometimes you look at people and you wonder. You look at an old woman you would have respected. You look at that old man you would have respected. But then the kind of clothes, the skimpy clothes they are putting on, for sure, they belong to their children, or even worse, their grandchildren. And then you wonder, what is happening in my society today? You know? But no matter how we try, the calendar pages still turn. Unfortunately, they still turn. The clock still sticks. You know, last year during COVID lockdown, the first lockdown when it came, we had a lot of jokes and fun that I'm not counting this year. You know, I've not done anything, so I'm not adding this year on my age. When people ask me, I will tell them this year was not there. But is it the case? No, it is not. The pages are still turning. And you know what? Even your years are adding up. Growing older, as I've said, is a pill that we have to swallow. But why is it hard to accept? That is my point. Well, the real pain in this is deeper. To some, it's the wholeness of success, you know, yet to others who have reached that top of the ladder, and then it feels so lonely, you know. There are some people who have had it all through. They wanted to achieve this, they wanted to achieve that, and now they have reached there, but they feel so lonely. What happened? The mahogany desks, the beautiful chairs that you had bought by then, that were the finest class, are now growing old. Actually, there is a newer version of that now, and you think you need to update, you know. The awards of achievement now are all tarnishing. The academic achievements are now fading. And now what do? What you thought was a dream come true is not actually feeling like how you thought it would. And to some, regret becomes a pastime. So we regret. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that, you know. The plumber regrets and wishes if he had gone to medical school. And yet the doctor wishes he would have done plumbing. You know, the working class woman wonders, they feel, they wish they would have used that time. They regret the time they spent away from home, pursuing careers here and there, and then they didn't spend time with their children. Yet the stay-home mom thinks and wishes they had if they had a career. And so all this is happening. And then you wonder, what is it? You know, when you start regretting of what you would have done, sometimes regret can lead to rebellion. You can rebel against whatever is trying to keep you down. The government, you think it is the government that has failed you to achieve this and that. You think it is your religion, you know, religion has funny rules and regulations, so you think it's not fair anymore. And sometimes you can rebel against your job, against your family, you know. Some children think it's this family that is tying me down, so I need to break my attachment and go away. And sometimes we actually we rebel against anything. But you see, there is a problem in rebellion. When you try to rebel to demands, to rules, to morals, to whatever you feel has been tying you down, then you're putting yourself in a trap that you may not actually like the outcomes. And that is the trap of Satan. That trap, that old trap of adultery. And it has been there. Don't say you didn't know. No. At least you've heard stories of people who have gone through that. And at that time, it's when that pretty young secretary in office seems too beautiful to ignore. After all, you're rebelling against family rules, home rules, and then you feel, no, you're fighting old age. You feel you're still young, so your wife should look at you in this way, should give you this maximum respect, your husband should consider you, should value, etc. And then because you've not gotten those ones from home, your dream come true does not feel like the way you expected today, and you go into regret, and then regret ends up in rebellion, and then you find yourself in Satan's traps, the old traps of Satan, one of which is adultery. That's when you notice that that young secretary in your office can actually be a good wife to you, or if not a wife, just, a retirement package. And that's when this young man next door wonders and tells you that, I can't believe you have 3 or 4 children, but you actually still look like you're 13, you're 18. How have you kept your figure? And then you're filled with this excitement that this young man next door is able to see how beautiful you are, yet your own husband at home cannot realize that and cannot treat you in the same way you feel this young man is doing. And then the David in you, the David in us, starts asking for Bathsheba, and then the Potiphar's wife in us yearns for Joseph. Be careful when you start regretting. Be careful when you start rebelling against what has been there, or what has been right, what has kept you all along going, just because you're trying to fight the reality of aging. That's when the prodigal son asks for their share. They feel they've been home so long, and it's those parental expectations, those parental rules that have kept them down, and so they need their share to go out and enjoy their world the way they want with friends, and so they come to ask for their share. But that's when also the elder brother to the prodigal son, that people pleaser in bracket, feels they've done so much for people, yet they don't feel appreciated, and so they stay outside, all annoyed and gloomy. And then that's when a pastor's child thinks they've been in prison for so long, and then they want to go out actually and enjoy the freedom that the world can give. I know there are many examples you can relate with. The things that we have ended up in just because we were rebelling against something that came as a regret, but that regret actually came with growing old. And that's why today I am talking about embracing old age. It is wise to prepare for this old age, my friend. If you're not yet there, at least you're sure that it is coming. And if you're already there, don't say it has taken you by surprise. I'm sure God had given enough warnings before. You've seen people who have gone before you, and then you've seen how they've ended up, but still you have chosen your path the way you want. If you've decided to put on those skimpy clothes just to keep yourself young, don't say you didn't know. No, that was your decision. And don't blame God. And God is still advising us. You know, in Luke chapter 17, verse 33, Jesus gave a warning here about old age. And that is what I want to use. I told you today I'm coming from the Christian perspective. And this warning goes like, whoever tries to keep his life safe will lose it. Whoever tries to keep his life safe will lose it. And the man who is prepared to lose his life will preserve it. Maybe you've never looked at that verse with the intensity and the respect it deserves. According to this verse, there are two ways to view life here. You know, you either protect it or you pursue it. So here we have two categories of people: those who are aimed at protecting life and those who are aimed at pursuing it. One side has a safety while the other side has adventure. Now I want to talk about the safety part. You know, you're trying to keep young. So you're trying to keep your body, your face, your whichever. You want to keep your mind young, which is not wrong in one perspective. But it can also be wrong because sometimes growing old comes with dangerous pitfalls, of which there are many. The traps that are on our way just to keep us off from what we were meant to be or to do are also many. And that's why I'm telling you the things. Now, on the side of safety, for those who are trying to keep their life, there is warmth. Because you're not going to get hurt when you don't do something. Like when you don't relate with others, how will you get hurt? You know? You're trying to keep yourself, to keep your life away from others because you don't want to get hurt. You know? And that is your definition of safety. You're trying to protect yourself. You know? There is no criticism on this side of safety because after all, how will people criticize you for doing what you have not done? People need to see you doing something and then they criticize it. Like how someone may come up and criticize me for making this video and talking about this topic, you know? But if I had not done it, then there would be no criticism. So I can decide to fear criticism and protect myself from criticism by saying, no, I'm not going to make this video actually. You know? You can't fall if you don't stand. And you can't lose your balance if you don't try to climb. You can't study because, according to you, the educated women don't get married. The other day I was chatting with a friend and I told him that I actually I'm looking for a PhD scholarship. And this person says, before you get married? Like, do you know what you're doing? So according to him, I have to protect myself from failing to get married by staying here, stopping to pursue my career. Like, I cannot attain a PhD before I am married, or else I will not get married. So I can choose to protect myself from failure to get married by actually refusing to pursue that doctorate. But is that the case? Does it help in any way? You can't, you know, we want to protect ourselves from many things. And so you decide. You can't bring that homeless child in your home because you're scared, you know. If you bring that child home, they can turn into something else. Or you think they will actually compete with your children for resources when they grow up. So you're trying to protect your children from this child's competition, right? You're trying to protect your life, to protect your children. You can't treat that stepchild well because according to you, you think if you treat them well, they will take you, they will take advantage of you. And so out of your own insecurity, you decide to mistreat this child. Well, congratulations, you know, you're doing it right, according to you. But according to this verse, to this Jesus' warning, actually, you will lose whatever you're trying to protect. And then, what is the other side of the story? That is the adventure side, you know? Because the verse said, whoever tries to keep his life safe will lose it. And the man who is prepared to lose his life will preserve it. So there are those who are protecting, they are keeping their lives safe, those ones I've talked about, but there are those who are actually pursuing life. And so instead of building warmth in their heart to keep the body young, to keep what, which is not wrong, please get me well and keep perspective. But in this adventure side, instead of keeping that kind of fire, you build a fire in your heart. And so you follow God's impulses. If God is saying adultery is bad, and you stay away from it. If God has told you that dress modestly, dress well, and that's what you're doing, you try to adapt that child, even when you feel it's not safe. You move overseas, teach that class, write that book, and share knowledge. Some of us have been so much blessed with experiences that really you would be unfair to go in your grave with, yet there are those others who are still in your shoes, in those shoes when you're still struggling, and yet they need to know that there is a God who saves just like the way he saved you. But you can decide not to write it. You're trying to protect yourself from criticism, but you can write that book. You can change careers. You can enroll for that other degree. You can make a difference in someone's life. You can impart, you can inspire. You can be a source of inspiration to the young generation, for them to look at you and say, there is something special about you, and actually there is a God in heaven. This isn't safe, yes, but what is it now? Which one is their safe side? There is rawness and wonder to life. Pursue it, hunt for it. Don't listen to those who settled for less and now they are trying to convince you to also do the same. Embrace your old age. That's what I'm saying, Embrace your old age. I want to give you a quote here. This quote was made by General Douglas MacArthur when he was 78. And he said, nobody grows old merely living a number of years. People grow old by deserting their ideals. Years wrinkle the body or the skin, but to give up interest wrinkles the soul. So I wouldn't want you to give up that interest of yours. Reclaim that childhood curiosity that you had. Just because you're near the top does not mean you have passed the peak. Your last chapters can be your best. Your final song can be your greatest. All I'm telling you is embrace your old age. The next time you're tempted to shy away from your age, from the fact that you're old, think twice. Remember, there are others who would have wished to reach where you are, but they didn't get that chance. They would have wished to make just your years. There is that mother who died early, leaving her children so young, and all they wanted was, I wish I could see my children out of school. And then yours are even away from home. Yours are like they are now old. But what you're doing really doesn't show your gratitude towards the God who has given you that life, And so you want to keep young. You want to keep sweet 18. So whatever you do according to you is to keep yourself young. Remember, the Bible has told us today that whoever tries to keep their life will lose it. This is the perspective I wanted to discuss this from. I know I would have brought in many other things, but this time I chose to do it this way. And so what am I saying? That some people, some people choose to do different things as they grow out. It could be that your life, all your life, the experiences you've passed through could have been preparing you for a great exit. For that thing you have in your heart that you're fighting with, who knows that for all the challenges, the rough and the tough life I have lived, the experiences, the tough experiences I've gone through, Who knows that all these were preparing me for a life of service? And when I decide to be of service to my God and to my community today, don't think I am wasted time. Don't think I'm making fun. I know where my God has picked me from. And according to me, I cannot let these experiences be wasted. And so I want to leave something that the young generation can look at and say, yes, I want to be like that one. How did you get there? How did you do this? And all I can tell them is I prayed and God helped me here. So even you, if you want to do this, you can pray. But there are other things we can do. Just as I have told you what is on the adventure side, It was the saving acts of Moses that led him to be in the Bible, If Moses had not accepted to go out of his comfort zone and follow God's voice and accept to go into the wilderness to humble himself and then come back and lead the Israelites out, probably wouldn't be reading about him today. But you see, he's in the Bible, That old and mellow Abraham was much wiser than the young one, So do not shy away from your old age. You can choose to go the David way or the Potiphar's wife's way, or you can embrace it with positivity. You decide to turn away from whatever puts a shame on the age you have that makes people question your old age. And then they wonder, you, with your age, you're doing that? You can choose to live a life that is different from that. And instead, you become a source of inspiration. Caleb climbed that mountain at the age of 85. These stories are in the Bible, I told you this time I'm discussing this from the biblical perspective. And John, the aged apostle, actually wrote the Revelation at his prime time. You remember when he was at that island of Patmos? That's when he wrote the book of Revelation. I am telling you today, my dear friend, my dear aunt, my dear sister, my dear mother, my dear father, whatever. You can choose to make that island that seems to be an island of isolation into an island of inspiration. You can choose to turn your life all around. You can choose to make your final years the best. How? I've already talked about that, Others, some people go fishing, others go hunting, others follow their dreams, what they wanted to be. I don't know what you're going to choose to do with your old life, John Penny, at 95 years, said that my eyesight may be getting weaker, but my vision is increasing. And all I'm asking, that as we age, as we grow old, let our vision also improve. We can't live with old bodies yet behaving like children. No. And that's where I am calling you to come. Please embrace your old age positively. Time slips, days pass, years fade, and life ends. And what we came to do must be done when there is life, when there is still time. There is something that you came to do in this world. Please make sure you find that purpose and you do it when you still have time. You don't have to wake up one day and you say, I wish I had done this. Now that I have reminded you, I have told you when you still have time. There is that something, there is that thing you're fighting with in your heart that you feel you should do or you should have done. This is the time. Please do it. Your tomorrow is not guaranteed. But today, when you still have life, please do it. And the worst of all things, Jeremiah 8:20 says, and for that person, I don't want to be that person who is going to hear the saddest words of scripture, which are in Jeremiah 8:20, that says the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. So my dear friend, all I am saying is learn to embrace your old age. Accept and take it positively. God has been so kind to you. You're not the best. You're not the most righteous. You're not any better than those who are dead. So instead of you fighting with your age, trying to fight with your body to keep it young, which is okay, please also remember to do something that fits your age. Do something that a young person will look at and say, wow, when I grow up, I want to be like you. You know, you can decide to do something, to do some things that when another person looks at them, they come to realize that actually you are grateful for the life God has given you. You could be having a home, and we give God the glory for that home. But what you decide to do with that home, how you treat the people in that home, can tell the story. So I am telling you, I am emphasizing the fact that please, as you're growing, beware of the David in us. Beware of the Potiphar's wife in us. Beware of the prodigal son in us. That spirit that wants to break away from home, from the parents, from whatever, which is good on the other perspective. But the way you see it and what you're going to do with it can make the difference. So I have chosen to make my life, to appreciate God for the life He has given me, for the many experiences, the hard ones that He has taken me through, to give an inspiration, to impact knowledge, to inspire someone. And that's why I'm making this video. I don't know how long I will live, but I know at least somebody will see this video, and who knows, they may change their ways. This is where I'm inviting you to come. Please respect your old age. Value it. Be grateful to God for allowing you live to this day. And do not let God, do not let God, do not let God be disappointed or regret for having given you that long life. I wish you well till we meet again. Thank you. Bye.